Creepy things happen before the graves.
Good night, everyone. What scares you? What is horror? Some call us freaks, weirdos. If you enjoy the darker things in life, then you are not alone. Monsters exist. The world is dark. We do not love horror because we want to be scared. We love horror because we see what others choose to ignore. I have a few friends who will show you the way. Please subscribe to all of my friends. Join us in the dark.
We love you. They've been with you since you were a baby. You've always seen them, known that they were there, even though now you have no idea what I'm talking about. You want to brush this off. You want to think that this is just another creepypasta. Or maybe this is just someone trying to scare you. I'm sure it is. Go ahead and write us off. You've been doing it up until now. And now, here you are, listening to what we have to say. Was it yesterday that you looked right at one of us? Yes, I remember the goose flesh that you got when you looked right at him. And his response? He grinned and walked right up to you, behind your back. He snarled at you, while you all are dumb, deaf, and blind to us. Not when you have no clue what to do or what to say that you might make us go away. Alarn was excited. He wanted to touch you, but I told him not to. You are not to do that, Alarn, I hissed at him. He was not pleased, but he relented. He walked away from you and headed back to my side, looking at you longingly. You walked away, playing on that small device that keeps us at bay from its bright light in the dark. But that will not be a very good shield, not forever. Nothing will keep us away for long. Not the crosses, not the amulets. Nothing can keep us away from you. We need to move now, screamed Vernus, glaring at me with his red eyes. So now I am here, doing something as my kin have asked me. You see, we don't want to kill you. We don't want to lose you, as you are very important to us. So I am here, giving you an alternate route. One that, if you're smart, which I know you are, you will take. So here it is. Open your eyes and realize that we are real, that we exist, and embrace us without even knowing what we really are. Or you can completely ignore us and pretend we don't exist for the rest of your life. But we do exist, and we are coming for you, regardless of what you believe. So, do you want to know what we are? If so, keep listening. If not, well, quit listening right now. I am the creature who hides under your bed, the one who lives in the shadows, under the stairs, on the ceiling, behind you right now. We will always be with you, my dear. We are never leaving. That thing you just saw, that shadow, and that noise, that was Vernus. He wanted to get your attention. His way of telling you that we are here. We are watching you as you read or hear these words. Our master has allowed us to write this message to you, to give you this olive branch. You can accept our offer and realize that we aren't as bad as those horrid fairy tales told you, that we love you and we want you back. But our master will not wait forever. Our dearest human, we love you.
I know, little one, I know. You long to hunt, to kill. You hunger for hot blood and torn flesh. I know how long it's been. But hush, just a little longer, my child. Yes, baby, I can see that he doesn't know we're here. But you still need to be quiet for a bit. It's all about self-control, sweetling. You have to be able to control yourself. You've got to learn some restraint. I know how delicious he smells, dear. I know. Shh, flower, he hears you. Look. See how he turns from his screen? I know he's not looking at us, baby, but he's sensing you all the same. Humans can do that if you don't move with care. Mostly they'll ignore the sensation or dismiss it as paranoia, but you have to be still. There, look, he's settled again. So much easier this way. No, little one, it wouldn't be more fun to hunt him down. Remember the last time I let you do that? The girl almost got away. I was cleaning up for hours after that one. No, it's much better to wait for the dark, wait for their guard to drop, and then... Don't fret, sweet pea. Your brothers and sisters were just like you at the start. You'll get better, more controlled. You just need more practice. That's why Mother's here, to help you learn. See how his eyelids droop? Not long now. There we go. He's shut the box down. Lights off. Always wait for lights off, baby. It's much more fun in the dark. Just listen to him breathe. Oh, little one, I won't make you wait anymore. Go on, have your fun. We'll try again with the next one.
This week I moved into a new house. The house itself is lovely, with 2 stories, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a fenced-in backyard and a big kitchen. The tree in the front yard is tall and strong and does a fine job of blocking my living room windows from the street. The water pressure is fabulous, the closets are large and the wood floors are new. The only problem I've had so far is that my neighbors are rather loud. Our houses connect on one side, so we share a living room, bedroom and kitchen wall. All day long I can hear them banging around their kitchen, watching loud movies, talking, and their small child crying. It's a bit trying, but nothing I can't live with, I suppose. Now, to get directly to the thing that really concerns me, it started when I was in the shower this morning. I usually like to have music playing while I shower, but today I decided that I'd rather just enjoy the silence. The activity was fairly uneventful until, as I was in the middle of washing my hair, I heard my neighbors talking from the other side of the wall. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it sounded strange to me. It seemed that they were mumbling something, whispering, and occasionally laughing quietly, but I couldn't figure out how I could hear them if they were evidently speaking quietly. I thought that they must be standing absurdly close to their side of the wall in order to be so audible in the midst of my shower. I didn't think too much of this incident until I was leaving for work an hour later. As I started to open my car door, I turned back to the house, feeling like I'd forgotten something. As I looked up at my bedroom window, I realized that the neighbor's house shares a wall on the opposite side of the house from the bathroom. On the other side of the bathroom lies my bedroom closet.
I do not know why I'm here. Well, actually I do. They think I'm insane. They alas do not realize what I see. I can see the angels. The angels that reside inside these filthy, disgusting human bodies. I have to free the angels. Why do they think I killed all those people that day? So the angels could finally be free of the people's bodies and float up, up, up and away. Don't people see I am the hero of the angels? I am the champion? No, they only see the physical. Can't believe I used to see my wife as beautiful. I'm glad I freed her angel though. I like to thank the man who showed me the true path. The man who convinced me to stop taking my medication. They only suppress the truth. Sadly, no one else sees the truth. They try to give me pills, but that won't work. Therapy, or like brainwashing. Idiots. However, there's one happy thing. They don't know I figured out how to get out of my straitjacket yet.
I have never been a sociable kid. To be completely honest, I never really see the point of it. People talk about the same things over and over again, meaningless things. The weather, the weekend, work, school. As I've gotten into my late teens, I've grown to loathe it. Whenever I hear the kids in my classes or in the halls talking about the same old crap and giggling, my blood boils. People avoid me mostly, which can be expected. A few of the more brutish kids pick on me, but I just ignore them. I spent my weekends alone indoors. I play the piano in my spare time. It's very therapeutic. It's like my meditation. When I'm playing it, I usually think about life. I think about the people and my general dislike towards them. I think about the kids who pick on me at school, and I think about the recent disappearances of kids in my surrounding area. They were all kids of a similar age to myself, mostly girls. Some even from my school, my classes. There have been 8 in total. I've been keeping track of them, you see. I follow their stories in the newspapers quite closely. I'm very keen on what the police find at the scene, and always keep an eye out for any evidence that might lead them to the killer. The profiles are always the same. They are usually discovered in back alleys or in ditches, always with their throats slit in a clean and precise manner. The curious part that the police can't seem to figure out is why the victims always have their tongues removed, ripped out from their jaws. And to quote the newspapers when they say, while the victims were still alive. They say it's the worst serial killing they had in my country for years. The killer is calm, meticulous, and leaves not one shred of evidence at the crime scenes. Whatever the reason, my classes have been getting noticeably quieter, as the noisiest kids have one by one gone missing, only to be found days later, mutilated and dumped as if they were trash. It's so much more pleasant. I can concentrate properly now. There's still that one girl in my class though, who really grinds my gears with her high-pitched whiny voice and that piercing laugh that seems to penetrate deep into my skull every time I have the displeasure of hearing it. I heard her again today, loud and irritating as usual. And I couldn't help thinking that she used that tongue of hers far too much. I might even go as far as to say that she didn't deserve to have all of it.
When I was a young girl, I would be incredibly fascinated by anything related to the paranormal and the occult. If there was anything pertaining to the subject of demonic possessions, apparition sightings, or even witchcraft, you could bet money that I would research about the topic endlessly. I guess you could say that I was always a bit of a weird kid, but I'm pretty sure everyone has had that peculiar obsession growing up. I especially remember having a phase in my early adolescence when I was heavily into watching two shows that came up on TV about ghosts. Those two shows were called A Haunting and Ghost Adventures. A Haunting was a TV show about ordinary people recalling events with their run-ins with the paranormal, and Ghost Adventures, as many people know, is about a group of men going to haunted locations and trying to find evidence of supernatural phenomena. It was so fascinating to see and hear about everyone's encounters with the supernatural that it gave me motivation to actively try to experience some paranormal events of my own. So I decided to grab a few friends and find some local haunts in my area. Lucky for us, there was a mental asylum that had been built in the 1800s and abandoned in the mid-1950s. What better place for a bunch of curious teenagers to explore than a creepy, rundown asylum, especially at night. There were in total 4 of us that had arrived to explore the destitute institution. Kimber, Tyler, Alex, and I headed inside the building with flashlights and a few cameras to document whatever would happen on our adventure. Immediately upon entering, we were hit with this powerful aroma, the stench of decades of musky mold and God knows what else due to the obvious neglect of the asylum. This place is pretty big. Why don't we split up to cover more ground? Tyler blurted out, disrupting the silence around us. And with that, the group agreed to split up and explore the 6 floors of the asylum. Kim and Alex went to check out the 3rd and 4th, while Tyler and I went up to the 5th and 6th. I felt safer since we all decided to go in pairs and not alone. Being alone was never the wisest choice in these types of situations, as horror movies show. As Tyler and I arrived onto the 5th floor via the stairwell, we caught an abundance of graffiti decorating the walls, but instead of the gang symbols or vulgar phrases, there were pentagrams and Latin words. Tyler, do you see this? I pointed my flashlight at the walls. Yeah, I see it. Some Satanists must have used this place for their meetings or whatever. Tyler was pulled out of his thoughts when we both heard a faint sound of footsteps coming down the hall across from our position. Tyler assumed it must have been one of our friends and approached to greet them. Hey dude, you find anything yet? I heard no response from the person approaching. I decided to shine my flashlight down the hallway, only to see Alex, walking, or more like stalking towards us. Hey Alex, why are you alone? Where's Kim? Still no reply from Alex. What the hell was he doing? Was he trying to scare us? Alex stopped walking now, standing at least 15 feet from me and Tyler. Then I noticed something about his face. His eyes. The area around them was blackened, so dark you would think you were looking at his eye sockets and not actual human eyes. Are you okay, buddy? Tyler began to cautiously step towards Alex. And finally, Alex responded to us. Alex isn't here right now. Me and Tyler bolted out of the asylum when we heard him speak. That voice was not human. As me and Tyler ran for it, all we heard was demonic cackling from throughout the building.
I've been lying down for hours now. It's 5:35 a.m. and there's not much I can do. You know what the worst part about my situation is? I'm in the same room with my parents. They keep looking at me and I can't help but look back. and try not to cry or scream. Their eyes are focused on me and their mouths are wide open. There's the strong scent of blood. I feel so paralysed with fear. Here's the thing. The second I make any hint that I'm not asleep anymore, I'm completely fucked. I'll die, and there's nobody around to save me. I've been trying to think of a way out, but the only idea I have is to rush for the door and run outside and scream for help, hoping any neighbours hear me. It's risky, but if I stay here, I'll surely die. He's waiting for me to wake up and see his masterpiece. You're probably wondering what's going on. I do get ahead of myself sometimes. About 3 hours ago, I heard screaming from the other side of the house. I got up and went to check on the noise before realising I had to use the restroom. Instead of doing the smart thing and investigating, I used the bathroom first. I could have gotten myself killed right then from my stupid actions, but I actually did my business and took a peek outside the bathroom. There was blood on the carpet. I got very worried and ran back to my room, hiding under my sheets like the coward I was. I tried to convince myself to go back to sleep, that it was just some really vivid dream or something. But I heard my bedroom door open. Like the terrified child I was, I peeked from under my blankets to see what was going on. I could see something dragging my dead parents into the room. It wasn't human, I can tell you that. It was hairless, with no eyes and no clothing. It walked like a caveman, with its back slouched as it dragged my parents. But this thing was much smarter than any caveman. It was aware of what it was doing. It propped my dad up on the edge of my bed and made him face me. It then sat my mother down in the chair and positioned her towards me as well. It then started rubbing its hands upon the walls, staining them with blood, and then drew a circle with the devil's pentagram in it. The thing had made what it would probably call a masterpiece. To finish it off, it scribbled a message onto the wall that I couldn't read in the darkness, then positioned itself under my bed, waiting to strike. The scariest thing is now, my eyes have adjusted to the darkness since then, and I can read the message on the wall. I don't want to look at it because it's terrifying to think about, but I feel I need to see before I'm killed. I peek at the creature's masterpiece. I know you're awake.
Blood, the sacred connection to the world beyond this one, as it empowers those who seek its power and inherit abilities. With everything, a price must be made to achieve such things. I loved to roam the woods behind my home. As a kid, I knew it like the back of my hand, knowing where all the best spots were for anything. Although the woods were very secluded, not a lot of people ventured inside them. I found it to be my sanctuary, a place where I could escape to, where I was left to be a wild child, and alone to my imagination. I would have the most adventurous journeys, but by nightfall, the woods would consume with darkness. I wouldn't stay and would run home in a quickness. My parents weren't too fond, as they always tried to keep me away from my love of solitude in those woods. The years passed. I became less in tune with my connection to them. I also made the decision to leave for the higher learning benefits of college, as I moved away, leaving my home and my parents behind. Now this is where the strange occurrences began. I had taken a break between semesters to come back home. I figured I'd rather spend time with family than to find myself stuck on campus grounds. Arriving at my parents' place, I was greeted by family who had caught wind of my visit. They all started talking about my childhood and so on. Later, the whole family started to make the best of things. A gathering of people developed, and everyone was enjoying themselves. Music, drink, and food filled the air. The environmental change left me at, this wasn't a bad idea, as I made the thought in my head. Because here I am, back where I've always felt connected to everything. finding myself very pleased and happy to say at least. As the party started to wind down, only a few family members stayed for the small bonfire in the back. Everyone else at this moment was either drunk and/or in a chill state of mind. Some decided to indulge in some party favors. A select few were comatose from all the food that was eaten. I was getting there myself, filling up with grilled burgers and hot dogs. It seemed to hit the right spot in the deepest part of my stomach. Darkness seemed to approach quickly. The fire itself was starting to look like a scene from a horror film. You know, the kind that revolves around a bonfire, where everyone is looking to make a sacrifice offering to a said entity of the dark. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. The night seemed endless. More and more disturbances began to unravel before my eyes. What I clearly remember as family only now seems to present me with strangers all around. One by one, they tightened the circle around me. The people began to change, and I became absent-minded to my surroundings. I wasn't in the back of the home anymore. Something was extremely wrong, and I was in the middle of this unfortunate happening. I tried to get up, but felt resistance. I was bound to the seat I had sat in. The circle began to chant aloud and hymn in unison. I could hear them encompass me. Their voices gave a hiss sound. Their stares glared at me only to paralyze the unsettling thought. This place was familiar to me. The woods, in the middle of the night. They started by sharpening a ritualistic knife in front of me, then continued to chant gibberish. I didn't know what they were saying. I knew there wasn't going to be an ending where I was back on campus, looking forward to the next semester of college. I overwhelmingly blacked out, only to come to the sharpening pain of my wrist being opened up, not in a manner that leaves me to bleed out quickly, but a slow result of bloodletting. This only gave me the impression that I was going to suffer a whole lot more than I would like to at this point. They said, "It's time." The fire grew intensely. The blood was passed around, being offered to everyone within the circle. I could feel a presence of something far worse rising from the ash and past the hot inferno in front of me. The most horrid screams and sinister laughter seemed to resonate within me, pushing forcefully outwards, drawing the fears of being helpless to the actions of these crazy people around me. Suddenly, blows to my chest and back were felt in rapid succession, falling into a daze where I could no longer stay awake, as the last of what I recall were only the celebration of the people and a deepened growl coming from the rising fire. I woke up, confused and a little off-balanced. A semi-worried look from my parents only left me with more of a, "What happened?" I remember only dying and bleeding out. Everyone who was there at the moment was only family, not strangers. I packed my things, and I headed back to the college campus the day after. I couldn't let go of what happened, but I also had a feeling that everything was going to get better in my life. I knew this, as I felt a force compelling me.
I think so.
I want to interrupt this broadcast to bring to your attention an injustice. Creepy Tales Corner's channel was shut down due to false claims. You didn't deserve that, Creepy Tales Corner. You are a nice guy. Please follow and support Creepy Tales Corner on Twitter.
Alright, listen up. I was the night watchman at an abandoned mental hospital turned state park for a summer in college. The only creepy thing that happened was, one night, I was with one of the state park police and we saw flashlights in one of the buildings. Kids constantly broke in and other people broke in to gut the old buildings of any copper they could find. So as I was saying one night, We saw flashlights moving around, so we went in. The officer pulled her gun and flashlight and went in. We could hear footsteps on the floor above us, and we slowly and quietly went upstairs. We checked every room and found nothing. Then we heard footsteps above us again. This happened for a few floors, until we were on the top floor below the roof. We heard footsteps up on the roof, so we went up there. Still nothing. We never found anyone or any indication that anyone had been there. It was just freaking creepy.